Virgo, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits, and I let you know how they're impacting or aspecting your natal sun and what that means for your day-to-day. All you need to know to understand these videos is your birth date. That's it, because I will translate everything else for you. We're going to start really broad with the big stuff. This is for the week of August 25th to the 31st of 2023, and there is some big stuff. Get ready for being the disruptor, Virgo. And then we're going to focus down into Virgo-specific information, and then I will break everything down into the 3 decans of Virgo, which is really just a group of 10 degrees, so that I have a more accurate understanding of exactly what is impacting your natal sun. So let's start with the big stuff, which I have written down for me in front of here. Well, full moon. Full moon, 8:30. Not 8:30 at night, unless, of course, you're in Texas. Austin, to be specific. No, it's on the 30th of August. We're going to have the second full moon this month, which makes it a blue moon. And it is also a super moon since it's very close to us. It's going to be super big and beautiful. So really putting the astrology to the side for a second, just in terms of aesthetic pleasure. It's going to be a sight to behold. Quite a beautiful thing. New York's probably going to be around 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Texas, over here where I am, it's going to be around 8:30. Then we get out into Mountain Time, which is going to be around 7:30. Way out on the West Coast, probably about 6:30. And I think that makes Alaska around 5:30. So as you go more west, it's increasingly more sunshiny, but I still think you guys will see it. It's going to be quite a beautiful thing to behold. It's in Pisces, full moon in Pisces, very emotional, uber ooze, but it's also conjunct to Saturn. So there's a sense of what the heck is this all about? And a lot of energies that we don't understand sort of being bought and made real and extra heavy in front of us. So this is a very cathartic mood. It is a very kind of explosive mood in terms of emotions getting out, even if we've tried to confine them or restrain them. This could also trigger a lot of family issues because we have Saturn, which is father energy, patriarchal energy, rules, laws, regulations, restrictions, with the moon, which is intuitive energy, maternal energy, caring, nurturing energy, but also illusionary energy. So we have the real versus the fake coming together here to sort of expand our consciousness and challenge our perception of ourself. Because remember, a full moon is only a full moon because it's a moon in opposition to the sun. So this is challenging our perception of ourselves and what we really can do or should be doing, and why are we restricted from it. This could be a really kind of explosive moon because there's a lot of agitation. The whole week, the sun is going to be in opposition to Saturn, which makes us feel oppressed when it comes to our own sense of individuality and personal authority. So this moon, full moons are always about release, could really make a lot of that pressure explode. Also, this is a great time and a powerful time to stake your claim to your own sense of unique identity. After the 30th, the sun moves on and it drops that opposition to Saturn a couple days later. So that's actually, divine timing, if you will. In the beginning of the week, we have Mars in opposition to Neptune, along with Mercury, which is now in retrograde in opposition to Neptune. But by the 28th, Mercury is out of opposition to Neptune, and Mars is even by the 30th, Mars will be out of opposition to Neptune. So we're starting to clear the fog, to clear the distraction, and to clear out the bullshit and start being able to discern the truth again, the reality again. And maybe calling on that crap, whatever's been built up, hidden, and people have tried to make it look like it's something it's not. I'm telling you, it's about to be exposed and pop off this week. We have Venus square to Jupiter. This is indulgent energy, and normally it's very fun, very playful, very tasty and delicious, but it could also be disruptive in that it is decadent and it's excessive. And we could be going into excess to try to overcompensate for our own inadequacies. And that's what's about to explode, pop off, and you're not going to be able to fool people anymore. It's almost like when the makeup melts, when the lights in the club get turned on. That's sort of what this full moon is going to bring about. We have Mars entering Libra this week, which is quite ironic because Mars is the only planet in our sky right now that's not either retrograde or in its shadow period. It's the only planet in our sky that's moving at its normal speed, and it's going into detriment, which means not that it slows down, but that it becomes very vulnerable and acts least like itself. Mars in Libra is more focused on balancing things out and making sure there's fairness, taking action toward fairness and equilibrium, than taking action toward moving forward and coasting past things. So this could be the tipping point where we really get some justice. All I'm saying, especially since all the other planets are digging down and starting to go into review, this could start to rebalance some stuff. Mercury is trine to Jupiter by the 30th, and Mercury is trine to Uranus all week long. Really interesting energy because Mercury is in retrograde, which means it does kind of clutter things up. But at the same time, there's a chance for expansion and unique discoveries as all of this unfolds. Uranus will go into retrograde officially on the 28th. Uranus in retrograde is almost like an introspective search for our own personal uniqueness or how we feel about things that are outside of the box. This is more quiet discoveries, more, especially trine to Mercury. Uranus trine to Mercury is such brilliant energy, such aha, but it happens within reflection when they are in retrograde. So interesting things can pop off this week is all I got to say. Virgo, what is your part in all this? Oh, but you want to know. Let's go. So when I look at what Virgo's doing, I look at what's happening in the zodiac sign of Virgo, and there's quite a bit. You are active right now. And then we also have Mercury, your ruling dignitary. What's going on in Mercury? Well, Mercury is one of the things that's in Virgo right now. So let's start out with Virgo. Virgo has the sun in the first decan between 2 and 8 degrees. It's traveling this week. Mercury in retrograde is traveling between 21 and 18 degrees this week. And Mars, going direct, is moving out of Virgo this week by the 28th, and it's going to be moving through into Libra all the way through 2 degrees Libra. So Mars is coasting out of the logical and picking up that pragmatism and putting it into fairness, making sure that justice is served and equilibrium is struck. Mercury in retrograde. Mercury is retrograding between the 3rd decan and the 2nd decan. I'm sure it's causing up a stir. And then the sun, of course, is going to be conjuncting all of you in decan 1. And that's going to put an extra sort of sense of self, sense of confidence. So this could be a really explosive full moon for you because it's you guys that'll be in opposition to this full moon. You're in opposition to Saturn right now. And I gotta tell you this right now, this sense of do not tell me who I can be or what I can and cannot do, shit's gonna hit the fan on that full moon, especially if it's got to do with some parental figures. Oh, let's get into it. We'll get into it when we get into the decans. Let's talk about Mercury right now. So Mercury is in retrograde. It's in Virgo. It's going to move between 21 and 18 degrees Virgo. And Mercury's picking up some speed in retrograde. Damn. All week long, Mercury is trine to Jupiter and trine to Uranus, which means even though it's in retrograde, it's all about broadening and expanding and learning and knowing and doing things that it normally wouldn't do because it's tired and bored with the crap. Or illumination and information that finally gets released by testing it, by testing and seeing, does this actually even frickin' work? Does it hold up to review? Oh, yes. Mercury is in opposition to Neptune, which could be fogging its perspective up to the 28th, and then clarity is restored. And we have Mercury also in quincunx to Chiron, which means pains from the past, trauma from the past, upset, irritation, restriction, or restriction or things that were said, right? Shit that got said, really agitating you and not letting it go, and you not being able to let it go, and that could inspire you to stir some shit up to get more answers or resolutions. I'm telling you right now, shit that got said is going to be the thorn in your side this week. Let's go into the decans, shall we? So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Virgo, you are in your natal sun is in the first, so it's not you, it's your sun that's in the first decan of Virgo. And so you're Virgo ones. This correlates to August Virgos. Anyone born between August 22nd and the 31st, this would be you guys. Your natal suns are the ones in opposition to this full moon. Shit's gonna be pop offish, and you are the fucking disruptor. You are going to say shit. You're going to confront stuff. This is not something, or you're going to get so sick of feeling like you can't be who you are that emotions are just going to flood out of you. You're conjunct the sun, which means your natal suns are conjunct the sun, which means there's extra confidence and understanding about and acceptance about who you are. But there's an opposition to Saturn that's already there. It's been there all year. It'll be there all year. But with the sun conjuncting your natal suns, this makes that sort of oppression or discouragement extra angry, extra mean, extra I'm not going to put up with this shit. That's what it does. It plagues your ego even more. The full moon is really, it's a super full moon. So there's just so many emotions that get to be released around this time. And like I said, that quincunx to Pluto, you ain't taking shit no more. It's like what's done is done. The irritation is reaching the sky this week, and you're what, like it or not, it's almost like you guys are the ones that are pushing people to change because you ain't gonna take the crap anymore. Let's go on to Virgo 2s. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Virgo, it's in the second decan of Virgo, and you guys are Virgo 2s. This correlates to birthdays between, say, September 1st and September 11th. Your natal suns are conjunct Mercury all the way through the end of this week. Your natal suns are trine to Jupiter this whole week. They've been. And then they're also in a quincunx with Chiron, which really eggs you on in terms of making you feel like, why is everything so difficult for me? Or maybe you're the ones that refuse to give up and are constantly like egging somebody else on to say, hey, grow, be better, do more, do better. But that's what's going on with you. We have this Mercury, right, in retrograde that is going to be conjunct your natal sun, which means your intellect is sort of retrospectively and internally starting to figure things out, starting to realize things and notice things. And since it's expanding because it's trying to Jupiter, you're comfortable with the change. You might be learning a foreign language, getting some information that has been trying to come through for you, but you've been waiting for it for a while. And this quincunx to Chiron is going to supercharge you to not make the same mistakes again, and to learn from your past, to work harder, do better, make change. So this could be quite the turn of events for you this week, especially personally, Virgo 2s. Now, Virgo 3s, if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Virgo, it's in the third decan of Virgo, you guys are Virgo 3s. So this correlates to birthdays between, say, September 12th and the 22nd. Yes, could be up through the 23rd as well, depending on when Virgo season ended, when you were born. All week long for the cusps. So the cusps would be Libra cusps, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. September 21st, 22nd, 23rd. You guys, all week long, your natal suns are going to be conjunct to Mars. For the rest of you, it's kind of up through the 28th. Conjunction to Mars means you have this supercharged sense of, I will do this. It's an uptick in energy, even confidence, but definitely stamina, perhaps even virility, which is kind of sex drive, and forwardness, forthrightness. Your natal suns on the other end, so more towards, say, the 11th and 12th of September, are going to be conjunct to Mercury retrograde through the 28th. But if you are born around the 10th, 11th, 12th, they're going to be conjunct your natal suns all week long. What does that mean? Mercury retrograde conjunct the sun is that aha realization. When shit starts to hit the fan, you start to be able to figure out what's valuable, what's not, putting it up against inspection, kind of. So it's interesting. Virgo 3 is one part of you is conjunct Mars. So you have all this energy and this virility and forthrightness. The other is conjunct Mercury retrograde, which means you're going quieter, more internal, and you're going to sneak attack people by checking to see if what they have said or their intellect holds up. Really interesting kind of divide between you two this week. We have a trine to Uranus, which is long term, but especially those of you who are conjunct to Mercury, this is going to really be impactful when it comes to thinking outside of the box and coming up with shit. You're not going to, the same stuff you're not going to see, you're going to see it in a completely different way and be brilliant about it. This could also be recognizing and realizing or being able to come up with your own sense of self, a deeper, clearer understanding of your own personal uniqueness. We also have an opposition to Neptune for those of you especially who were born more toward the 12th, 13th, 14th, like the beginning of the third decan. Especially the 26th. So anywhere from the 20th to the 26th, you guys would be, you're directly opposite Neptune. That's also long term though. So you guys, it's just going to be like activated now, right? So the ability to be distracted is, you're more vulnerable to it while Neptune is in opposition to your natal sun. Right? You're just more vulnerable. But now with Mercury and Mars being there, this will be even more so. So refocusing yourself could be a real challenge this week, or with Mercury going into retrograde, you could find yourself trying to figure out stuff that keeps getting muddled and crazy. So there could be a lot of distractions, more so than usual now. Distractions, disruptions, interruptions. And then we have this quincunx to the North Node. So there's a little bit of resistance when it comes to assuming your own sense of personal, or there's more inspiration to assume your own sense of personal responsibility and individuality, and to be able to spend more time alone. You let me know in the comments below, Virgo, how all of this stuff is impacting you guys. And if you love this video, please like it and share it on your social media platforms. And then come on and subscribe to the channel so you can get updated on all your favorite content. Please do also join me for your week ahead tarot card reading on Born Without Boundaries Tarot. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the videos. Bye, Virgo.